All right, welcome back. So this is the part two of the video related to your slider map. And the goal for the slider map is to showcase your species in relation to some other abiotic or biotic factor in its geography. So that could be predator, that could be prey, that could be some other symbiotic relationship, or it can be maybe a threat or maybe an element of the climate that you find the species in. There's a fair amount of exploring you could do on your own related to your own species, and you should. I think that there's some easier ways to go about this. I'm going to showcase a few that I think will be helpful, but don't be afraid to just search for some data and see if you could find something interesting. All right. So, we're back with the River Project Part 1, and we have already integrated maybe into your story maps. But if we keep on these layers, we can kind of just continue to build on this map file. And then when we place in the story map, maybe for your first map, when you're just talking about the geography of the river basin. You can turn those layers off when you originally place it. But let's just build off what we have in the last one. You can see that I did take off the cropland layer because I wasn't using it in particular, though I maybe could. But I digress. Let's get to the focus of the entire project, which is your species. Okay. And I'm going to add a species that isn't like directly a river species, but one that you certainly find in areas near rivers and streams that feed into the Mississippi. So I'm going to go over here to and actually, before I start, let me start with this webpage, iNaturalist. iNaturalist is a citizen science page where wildlife enthusiasts take pictures and post uh, the pictures and locations on this site. It's an enormous, you can see, I don't know if you just saw, but 243 million observations. So that's a lot of wildlife enthusiasts uploading a lot of data that scientists can use. You can see this person looks like they're in, where are we? Missouri? Yeah. Okay. And then if we zoom out, you can see all of the observations of this tiger moth. Okay. I encourage you to go through and look through the website because I guess I just went away, but you can go back. Where's the species page? And you can see some interesting elements of the species. For instance, when the species is most likely to be observed, it looks like this would be sort of a springtime or summer species, and maybe it's dormant or some sort of migration patterns in the winter months. Some information about its taxonomy and general status, especially if we're talking about species that is in need of conservation. And then we can go to our map, which we're going to add things a little bit differently. But here's where we can find all this data. So let's go back to ArcGIS. And here I'm going to add a layer from Living Atlas, and I'm going to type in iNaturalist. All right. And you could see this really, I mean, we're talking amazing layer for your projects. We go back and we can see it's one of those layers similar to the hydrology layer where there are multiple layers within. At the most fine scale, as in the most zoomed in, and it looks like we were brought by default to Barcelona. You have all of these individual observations that you can click on. Let's see. Looks like you see a lot of plants. If we click on a yellow, looks like we're getting something from the Aves class birds. So we have a gull. But then if we zoom out, they are sort of binned into these things called hex bins. And so what ArcGIS is doing is taking, remember this shape right here that I'm circling? If we zoom in, it's comprised of many, many points. And so when I zoom out, it says, hey, this area has mostly insects, or in the green, this area has mostly plants, yellow, mostly birds. Looks like I would assume that these are. Oh, these are mammals, so maybe let's see what we're talking about here. Oh, a dolphin, so cool. I assume that there are some fish, especially if you get into the marine habitats. Let's see what we see here. Yep, a mackerel. Okay. So some fisher folks put in here. And so all around the world, what you're able to do is see which class of species is found here. And again, this is scale dependent. So here are probably the largest hexagon shapes. And then if you zoom in really close, you get another breakdown. That's what these hex bins R6, R3, R5, etc. are doing. And then when you're in a more local scale, you can see the individual observations. So there's a world, and I'm just gonna, now that you see it, at least let me do one quick change and put this underneath all of this, where you could really show, hey, this is the Mississippi River Basin, right? And you can see an abundance of plant life and insects and birds within this basin, right? And even if you zoom in a little bit more, I suppose you see the same classes represented. And if you wanted to go closer to the Mississippi or zoom in more, you might be able to elicit a little bit more of those patterns. Now, the broad scale, I think is helpful if you find a place within your story map to sort of showcase what types of species you're seeing and where. Um, but I do want to focus on getting information for your own species. So there's one quick thing I want to do here. I'm going to turn off all of these layers because I want to focus on the individual points. And then I'm going to click over here on observations. And you can see right now I'm too zoomed out to see my observations, but I can change that by moving my visibility range. And the reason that it has a limited visibility range, and you're getting a good example of this, is because there's so many points, right? 253 million points that ArcGIS is trying to plot. And that's a lot of work, right? If we zoom in, we sort of narrow it down a little bit, and so it doesn't need to work as hard. But when we're looking at the entire Mississippi River Basin, it's estimating and trying to fill in, but it might take some time. Nonetheless, we're showing here that the observations, the points themselves are individually viewable. But let's go ahead and filter this, right? Because we've learned now how to filter, right? So we're going to go here and I'm going to put in the scientific name let me get it actually, I want to get the white-tailed deer. Let's see. There we go. It's Virginian. Put that right in there. And I'm going to press save. Now, the thing is, this is a little bit clunky because it is taking, you can see this little dot popping up right next to iNaturalist observations. It's going to take a lot of work for ArcGIS to filter. And so it might take even a couple minutes. You might see me doing a couple other steps to really limit and make sure that it's not plotting any more of these. Okay. Even it makes sense to sometimes, you can see it's working on it, save. Okay. And then I found that if I restarted my page, that's sometime up. There we go. See that's like the helpful trick because there's just so much data. Now, even if we look at here, it looks like we're seeing sort of blotches, and we're not actually. What we're seeing are red. They're not that noticeable here, but if I zoom in, you can see them for sure. Red points, and I assume no one saw. Oh, sorry. let me go through another thing real quick. If you click on this, it's going to say United States, but if you click on this arrow on the top, you could see here's a sighting for a white-tailed deer. And you could see, obviously, whoever recorded. Oh, maybe it moved over here because before it was in the water. Um, yeah, th there might be some that you find that are like in the water, and that's obviously nonsensical, and maybe the GPS wasn't working. But if we zoom out now, we can see now this is a generalist species, the white-tailed deer, so you're gonna find it in many different areas, of course. But you're going to see all of these different observations and the patterns of their observations. I'm gonna go ahead and change the style a little bit because, well, you'll see. But I'm going to change it to a, oh, is that all again? Okay. Basic shapes, polygon fill. No, I want to, oh, well. I'm going to make this, I'm in the wrong, oof, this is a good lesson. Let's go back and, let's just cancel this. Okay, my bad. I was in the world counties. I have to click back on our naturals. In fact, back on observations. Now I'll go to styles. I am going to go to the location map. I could do heat map, which is something we've done before. And I could change the style options a little bit so that I am maybe representing the findings a little bit better or differently rather. Let's see. And here are there we go. Now we're seeing the patterns of where we're seeing these observations. But for right now, I'm going to go to location and style options. I actually am going to keep this circle. I might make it a little bit smaller though, especially because there's so many. And the fill I'm going to do, I want to pick like some nice complementary colors for this. You'll see why. I'm going to pick this like nice teal, okay? You can see that I have an outline. Let me see. Okay, I want to do something like that. That's good. Um, and so now I have all of these blue dots representing white-tailed deer observations. Oh, that's gross. I guess that's a sign of a white-tailed deer. So the last thing I want to do is press these three dots on the right, and I want to rename this white-tailed deer. Now, to make this a swipe map, what we might want to see is some geographic relationship between, for instance, one of the white-tailed deer's predators. Okay? To do this, I'm going to press this over here, and I'm going to duplicate this layer. Now it's clearly duplicated with the white-tailed deer's points, and so if I block this, it'll still be visible because it's coming from here. But here I want to change the filter to Ursus americanus. Save that. You can see again we've got this funky thing happening. I'm going to save and reload my page. I think that worked best. And if I go over here, you might have seen from when it refreshed, it's slightly different. I'm going to change the style of this one to be sort of like a bit of an orangey. Okay. All right. And press done. And now you'll see I have these orange spots. There's a lot over there. I don't know the story behind that. But over here, look how cute the little American black bear cub is. Okay. And so you have all of these observations. It's really curious, the straight line over here. Looks like it's in Tennessee. But what you're seeing is this natural predator of the white-tailed deer, the black bear. Let's go ahead and rename this layer. All right. And so you can imagine talking about this predator-prey relationship and showing, for instance, here's where you're seeing. the predator existence near the prey, although clearly there are areas where we might not find black bears and still find white-tailed deer. I bet that these are areas where the white-tailed deer populations are exploding, right? Now, here we found one predator and prey relationship. There might be some other. I'm gonna go over here real quick. I'm gonna type in tick genus. Okay, and that was the Odysseus. Okay, I'm gonna add one more over here, and so I'm gonna duplicate this because I want to add another symbiotic relationship. Um, I suppose it's another predation. I'm gonna filter this where my class is. Let's save this. And I'm gonna save the map again so I can do this and reload the page. Oops, gonna wait for this to save. Reload the page. Oh, go over here. Let's change these symbols to maybe more of a red. Done. Okay. Done. Done. And so if I zoom in, will I see any of these? Or did I do it wrong? Oh, I'm not seeing any red. Let me check one sec, because maybe it's not in the genus. Oh, it's family. I'm sorry. Okay. So if I go back over here and back to here, I'm gonna go back to the filter again instead of genus. I'm gonna put family, save, and let's see. It's worked before, so hopefully it works again. No, okay. Hold on. Over here. Let's see. Let's see if we look for ticks affecting. Um, no, it should be family. I want hard ticks. There we go. Maybe it's in a different. Is this the other option? Maybe it's telling me something here. Mhm. See. Hmm. Let's oops. Zoom to layer. Oh, no, we must have picked something that's only found in the Philippines. Go back over here. Okay, we're gonna try one more time, and if this doesn't work, you get your money back. See. Tick, white-tailed deer. Let's see. Uh, the deer tick, of course, deer tick. Scientific name. So I thought okay, let's go for this one more time. Let's switch it straight to scientific name. There we go. Over here and save. And again, because this is wonky, I'm going to save the whole project. I'm going to try and reload the page. Okay, I'm going to go. Oh, there we go. So now we have I think I said prey relationship. I suppose it's parasitic. You have ticks. And so now if you want, you can show, of course, this natural predator of white-tailed deer, the American black bear. You can also show a well-known parasite, the deer tick, and its relation to its geography. And it looks like the deer tick is more general or expansive in its geographic range, certainly than the black bear. So now we've looked at a couple of biotic conditions. I just want to add one abiotic condition that I think is probably pretty common, and you guys are probably writing about it as a threat to your species. But I think it does a nice job showcasing how you can sort of search for layers and find things that are really interesting about your species geography. So if I go to press add here, and I'm going to go back to Living Atlas. I'm going to type in human impact. Okay. You can see there's a lot of these are all from marine ecosystems. Here's one called the Human Footprint from 2009 from ArcGIS Story Maps. If I add this, now just in case you do use this one, make sure you go forward to the information page where you can learn about how it was created and talk about it, effectively. But here we have the human impact. It's over everything right now, so maybe we put it down here, right? And so you might be able to see, certainly I imagine you can find some for the black bear, which is more sensitive. Um, but the relationship between human impact and wildlife. Okay, let's just check in over here. I want to see this square a little bit. And you can see there's a big urban center, but a lot less urbanization over here where you see these black bears, maybe some suburban areas. But either way, representing a really interesting sort of geography, the geography of human impact uh, as a sort of indicator of where you'd find the species. I realize I hadn't renamed this, so I'm going to go ahead and rename this as deer tick. Keep the common names, okay? So, one thing I'll note, if you go to legend now, you'll see these each represented. We'll go back to our layers. I'm going to go ahead and save my map. Fantastic. And I'm going to go back to my content and go to my story map that I worked on. You might recall it was sort of just getting started, and I sure showed. Whoa, don't know where I did the Mississippi there. The uh, delta of the Mississippi. I showed how you could just sort of show it. Whoop, this piece I'm going to show you in a second, or in a different video, I should say. But let's say I wanted to compare the geographies of these symbiotic relationships or human impact. I'm going to go to Add Content Block, and I'm going to click my swipe map. Now, I complain about this all the time, so you probably heard me say this, but go ahead and make this large, right? We want to be able to see things. Here we can add different types of media. I've seen a few of you do this with images, and I think that that's pretty interesting. But for now, we're going to go back to Web Map, and I'm going to click on this river project. And now I'm on the left side. So if my species is whoops. You know what? I'm kind of remembering that I have to edit this a little bit more. Let me go back, edit in ArcGIS, and try and pull some of these up. Yeah. There we go. Try and pull your species out of here so they're not what nested within. Save these. Sorry, I realized I kind of rushed this because, but if you can pull these out from underneath iNaturalist observations and save them there. And so when you go back to your story map, you now see them separately. So let's on here turn on the white-tailed deer layer. Let's go ahead and oh, right now it's not letting me put. Oh, I'm going to turn off the iNaturalist ones. That's not letting me have. Oh, because it's a swipe map, you don't necessarily get the legend, but you can go ahead and write in the description. Save right there. Let's add another web map over here. River project. Here, let's go ahead and showcase the deer tick, or let's go ahead and showcase actually the human footprint. I like that one, of course. And press save. And now you can see the impact of the human impact on this species, or the influence, I guess I should say, right? Through this interesting swipe map. And of course, you can write a caption here to describe it. All right. Hope that was helpful. As always, if you have any questions, please feel free to stop me in the hallways to meet with me. Thanks.